So this is the BorrowerPaid comp rate sheet, right? So remember how early I was telling you guys BorrowerPaid comp is usually cheaper than LenderPaid comp because we have a set agreement with the lender of here's the rate, right? Or here's the compensation. We have to match a rate to it. I believe our LenderPaid comp with UWM just got reduced down to 2.25%, not 2.75 like the standard with the other lenders. But for the sake of this, let me show you what it kind of matches at, and why I say BorrowerPaid comp and LenderPaid comp is the same rate sheet, but expressed differently. Okay, so let's just keep this in mind right here. All right, I'm just going to screenshot this so we can refer back to this later. Okay, we'll move it somewhere else. All right, so now we're going to change this from BorrowerPaid comp, and we're going to change this to LenderPaid comp. Okay, still the same pricing, still the same criteria, nothing's really changed, right? Still 10% down, still 740 credit score, single family resident house, 22-day lot, going conquest. Okay, so we're going to get the quote. Okay, all right. So we're going to go conquest. And now this looks a little different, right? So what this now shows is the rates with our compensation included with it, okay? Included into the rate, rolled into the interest rate. So earlier, going back to the screenshot, let's just say we were charging a borrower 2 points as our broker fee, right? And we wanted to wash out that fee. What we would do, we would issue a rate of 2.75 because that would give back a credit of 2% to the borrower, right? So that basically washes out the fee. It's like a kind of like a zero cost, zero broker fee type of loan, right? Now, because our comp agreement with UWM is 2.22 or 2.25%, right? Naturally, if we were to think of this as the BorrowerPaid comp, right? And we switch the BorrowerPaid comp to 2.25, right? To increase it a little bit, we would then have to look at a rate that's slightly higher, 2.875, right? To at least give them a credit, negative 2.65, to help offset that 2.25, okay? And so what happens with LenderPaid comp, they already factor that in, our broker fee in there. And so what they do is they actually issue a rate that shows $0 to the borrower. That's a par rate to them, and it pays our compensation. And so what that does, it just eliminates the fee off of the loan estimate, first and foremost, off the Section A, but it actually just gives them a rate of 2.787. Earlier, we were charging 2% as our broker comp, right? And what that did is it came back at 2.75, so it was slightly cheaper on the rate, right? Because we were charging less points, we were charging less fees. But when we went LenderPaid comp, which paid our full compensation, it increased the rate to 2.787, so about a 0.037 increase on the interest rate, right? So this is where it comes in play as, hey, LenderPaid comp usually is going to be more expensive, but it's going to be the same pricing. Because if we go back and do a little bit of math, right? So we said that 2.75% on the LenderPaid comp, so this is LenderPaid comp, is going to cost the borrower $403, right, to get the rate. If we go back to this rate sheet and we say, well, 2.75%, we were only going to be charging 2 points on this loan, right? What happens here is, where's my calculator? Where'd it go? Hold on. Where'd my calculator go? Oh, there it is. And this is the most confusing. This is really hard to explain. I'm sorry if it's super confusing. It's just a little hard to explain with, yeah. Well, as time goes, it'll make a little bit more sense the more you're seeing it. But so the BorrowerPaid compensation, if we go back to this rate sheet, it said it was at 2.75%. It was going to give back 2.043 in credits back to the borrower, right? So that was equivalent to $4,596. If we go back to the LenderPaid compensation plan, right, it says it was a cost of $403. What's really funny is when we go back to here, this pricing, and I didn't even need the calculator. This final pricing, this is the lender paid compensation sheet, the rate sheet. It still shows that their initial final price prior to our compensation was this $4,595 on the 2.75% rate. Now that we have to add in our compensation, which is right here, the 2.222, which is $5,000, we now have to look at a final price after compensation to the bar. If the bar doesn't want to bring any money to the closing table for our broker fee or pay any points, then it would have to be bumped up to 2.787, which would cover our compensation. Okay, so that kind of, so when we see this 2.75 on the lender pay comp, we see final price of $4,500. If we go back to the borrower pay comp, the final price is still, crap, screenshot the wrong one. It's still $4,500 right here on this section at 2.75. So you guys see that where the pricing is still the same. It's just how the compensation is being paid out, right? So the rate doesn't change because you're going lender paid or borrower paid in the essence of the pricing sheet changes. It's just how is it going to get paid out, right? Because the lender is going to be paying for the compensation through lender pay comp, it's now going to show a higher rate because it now has to cover that rate, has to cover that compensation. But because we have the choice of actually reducing our compensation of what we charge as the broker fee going borrower pay comp, we can issue a lower rate and not have to give out as much credits, if that makes sense.